Hello, my fellow readers. This is Dark Symphony 777 back going through all the old fan fictions I reviewed. Um, Ignore her. So yeah, make sure to comment on the video below and tell me your thoughts on this. I'm hoping to get to. Let's see, where am I? I'm hoping to get to here. Once I get to here, I'm going to stop right here. So I only got like a couple pages left. But before I get to continuing these, I actually want to go back up here to Fusion of Destinies 2. So I actually completely forgot to talk about this because it honestly slipped my mind because I was kind of in a hurry with that one because I want to try and kind of power through. And I actually forgot to talk about a specific detail of this story. I think because I had to take a gap between like this video and last video. It was a big gap and all that. But the reason I wanted to talk about this story first is I'm actually going to bump this to right. No, there to right here because I only just remembered after I recorded that because of the time frame and work and all that. I did not like a lot of the fight scenes that played out in the story because all of them kind of played out like something from the Metroid Prime series. So, and I remember like the whole I wasn't a big fan of the final fight with Valkyrie. I still like Valkyrie. Valkyrie's easily the highlight of the story. She's still a great villain. But I remembered after I finished recording, and I went back to my memory. I went back, remembering the story, and I remembered. Wait a minute! All the fights that happen, they don't play out very naturally, and that's because all the fights play out like something from a boss fight from Metroid Prime, like either Metroid Prime One, to Echoes, or Corruption. And once I realized that, it it kind of dampened a lot of the mood because it had all these great locations. Like I said in the video talking about this, this story borrows a lot from the Prime trilogy, specifically in terms of locations and mood setting and atmosphere and everything. But then I realized it borrowed a little too much from the Metroid Prime trilogy. And that includes the fights. Like, oh, they have a set amount of moves. They just kind of cycle through the moves, and now they're just going to fight. And then, like, a running gag is like Voldemort, because in this story, Voldemort teams up with Harry because even he's like, yeah, this is just too much. I have to reluctantly team up with you, Harry Potter. And Voldemort kind of becomes a butt monkey throughout the entire story because he's getting like beat up, but he's like he has the Horcruxes, he can take it. I do like this story. Like I said, it has a great atmosphere. It has great characters. But I think now that I remembered the fight scenes being really, really lackluster, not even just the Valkyrie fight scene because that one had its own problems with like being built up so amazingly and then just let down. That I kind of had to deduct some points from it. But so yeah, that's the only change I want to make. Yeah, let's go down to right here. Key sensing for Android. So this is the Dragon Ball Z series that I randomly found. I believe this is a short story where Krillin teaches Android 18 how to sense ki because androids cannot sense ki naturally. That's like their whole thing is they can't sense ki, they can't absorb ki. That's basically they can't use ki at all, and that's basically the whole point of the story. It's just Krillin just teaching, and 18's like, okay, here's how you sense ki. Can you sense it? No. Good. It's an alright story. I don't remember much about it, but I remember at least liked it. It is a one. I think it does end on a one note joke. It's it's. Sorry, there was something on the screen that was distracting. I actually don't remember much about it. See, this is like the thing with having reviewed so many stories. You can't remember everything. So where would I put this? Because it's at least a neat idea. Let's just do here. Let's just do here. C plus. I don't think it's great. I think it's just average. I believe it's just average. Okay. After the baptism. Oh, this story. This story. Okay, so this is a Bioshock Infinite story. I already know where I'm putting this. Where is it? Yes. 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 So this was a Bioshock Infinite story that takes place immediately after the ending of Bioshock Infinite. So basically, if you never played Bioshock Infinite, one, why aren't you? Because it's actually a great game. But two, the ending has Elizabeth gaining up with like all her different alternate versions and killing Booker DeWitt in order to try and erase the idea of Comstock. And this story kind of takes place immediately after that ending, like Elizabeth kind of being sad that she killed Booker, and then the Latwii twin shows up and she basically calls him out. And it's just one big long conversation. It's really well done. I believe the author did make a sequel of the story that kind of go. I don't know what it's about. I think it kind of goes more into the dynamic between Elizabeth and the Latwises. But I haven't read that story, so I don't really know for sure. I just know there was a sequel, like made a few years ago. So who knows? Maybe I might do the sequel. But I know this story is really, really good. Like this story is really good. If you're a fan of Bioshock, go on your way to this. So there's that. Let's keep going. Heart to Heart with Grandpa Vader. Oh, this is just a kid's. These are just cool. These are just bland. This one's just Darth Vader being like Grandpa. It's a nothing story. I'm gonna put that in D. They're both, both of these are gonna go in D. And Belle and the Bear, this is just literally just a kid story. If you're a kid and you're first starting out trying to read, go read this. Go read this one. This one at least has a novelty of being deliberately written for kids, because there are some fan fictions out there that are meant to be read as a kid for kids. So at least the Belle and the Bear has that going for it. Heart to Heart with Grandpa Vader, this one's just dull, uninteresting. Okay. Turnabout Storm. Oh. I wonder how I'm going to rate this, because am I going to be? Wait a minute. I wonder. Am I going to be doing? Let's see. No. Let's see. Am I going to be doing the sequel to this? I'm kind of curious. Where is it? No. Because I'm actually curious. Mace Attorney. Yeah, here. There it is. Huh. Oh, it's in 2020. Okay. Let's go back up here to. Let me fix this. Ace Attorney. Okay. So, Turnabout Storm. For those of you who don't know, Turnabout Storm is a web series that was created by a bunch of My Little Pony and Ace Attorney fans, and they basically just made a visual novel of a what if case. Basically, Twilight under Celestia's orders, uh, who, spoiler alert for Turnabout Storm, who technically was under orders by Mia Fey, technically, brings Phoenix Wright into Equestria to solve a case involving Rainbow Dash. Basically, Rainbow Dash was accused of murdering a racer for this sort of ponyfied Le Mans 24-hour Le Mans style thing. And basically like an endurance test sort of race where they travel long distance, and Rainbow Dash was considered the favorite to win. Spoiler alert: she was innocent the whole time. But this author by Firesight actually was a novelization. The author, I believe, did actually get approval by the Gold Crow. The Gold Crow actually voices Phoenix in not only the web version of Turnabout Storm. He also voices Phoenix in all of the Team Lorda Band's videos. So he basically voices Phoenix in Devil's Attorney, I think, which was the crossover with Disgaea. He voices Phoenix in Operation Turnabout, and he voices Phoenix in Jackpot Turnabout. So he basically voices Phoenix throughout if there's any web series version of Ace Attorney, sure enough, Gold Crow might more likely is probably going to be voicing Phoenix. And he actually got approval from him because he technically worked on Turnabout Storm, so he's like, yeah, go ahead, do this. And this was the result. Turnabout Storm is a great story, but now that I think about it, I'm not a fan. I don't know. Granted, this is more. What do you think, Patchouli? Anyway, this is more of a very, very hindsight thing, because when I first reviewed this, I knew there was a sequel, which is what I was looking for, but I didn't know how bad the sequel was going to be, and that kind of leads to where I put this, because this story, the novelization is different from the web series, because this one implements a romance angle between Phoenix Wright and Twilight Sparkle. And because of the sequel, it kind of tainted that, because I thought, oh, yeah, the romance is actually kind of cutesy. It comes out of nowhere, but in terms of execution, it was actually handled pretty well, all things considered. It's just the sequel just ruined it for me. I don't even know if I should leave it in Better Off Alone tier, because of just how bad the sequel just ruined this whole angle for me. I think that'd be rude if I just leave it out, because it's not even the first story as well. It's just the second story just didn't know what to do. I don't know if I should do 2020 so I can talk more about this in detail or not. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Should I continue to pass from 2020 to 2021? Do the 2020 stories? Maybe. I don't know. But I still like the story. It basically fixes a lot of the gaps the web series had, because I know near the end, the entire cast crew were not a big fan of the Twilight Horn idea, and so that kind of influenced their writing near the end, and they kind of rushed it at the end, and didn't even finish the Trixie subplot in the web series. But this one did, and even had an implied spinoff of an investigation style spinoff with Edward, which is kind of sad I never got the chance to see, because no one ever bothered to work on it. It would have been cool. I like the whole the unicorn who the spellcrafter judge. I liked her. This is such a bitter pill to swallow, because my placing of this basically boils down to, do I let the sequel badly influence this story because of the romance between Phoenix and Twilight. No, I'm not going to. I still think this is a great story. This is a better it's among the better, no, not the weaker Better Off Alone tier stories, because at the end of the day, it is a novelization. It does implement certain elements of the story, but it does change enough. But I would say, compared to Total Alternate Island and Fusion Destinies 2 and Mario, Luigi, and Bowser, this was probably like the weakest. It's not the weakest among the Better Off Alone, all the Better Off Alone tiers. That would be Fallout Equestria. Fallout Equestria is easily the worst Better Off Alone tier story. But amongst these four, this one stands out as the weakest. It's by no means a bad story, but I can't put it any higher because at the end of the day, this is something you're just novelization. You're basically doing a novelization of a visual novel, and and you do better it in some ways, but yeah, there's only so much you can do without bothering to like go. Oh, I just go watch the web series version of it. So let's go back down. Heroism. This is just a horrible story. It's the author deleted it. That's all you need to know. Basically, if it has unknowns, that means it's more likely going to be very bad. It's going to be bad. Let me fix that. There we go. This one just like a really really badly worded letter style story. It's like a story that's written in the style of a letter being written for someone else. That's basically it. Oh yeah, Trader Abroad by Chris Etchers. This is one of the more creative fan fictions out there. So this one is based off the long-standing TV reality show The Mole that started in Belgium all the way in the 1990s and is still kind of going on all across parts of the world today. It's very well regarded, and in a sense, this Chris Etcher's Trader Abroad is very famous because before Trader Abroad, a lot of these fan fictions that were in the style of reality shows, they were never considered good, which makes Trader Abroad such a revolutionary story because it was the one that kind of proved that these types of stories can be written and can be written well and can be well regarded. It is very rough. Out of the three stories he's written, this is the weakest because at the end of the day, his writing wasn't that good. Once we get to like Trader, I think I also like either in 2018 or 2019. I also do Saboteur's Island, and that was going to be much much higher. But I can only really go so high because the only reason I gave it a 7 was because of the legacy. Because again, this story proved that these types of stories can work. It's just this story was just very rough handling it. But the fact that so many people got inspired to write their own versions of it. This started kickstarting all the Survivor style stories, all the Big Brother style stories, all the Amazing Race style stories. It all started from Trader Abroad because this story proved that this concept can be done in a fan fiction, can be done well in a written style format. That being said, if we rate this just on the quality of the story itself, it's a C. It's a C plus story. It's just very very rough. Most of the characters are not really well developed. Again, that's this story kind of focuses more on just a proof of concept sort of thing. So it doesn't really have time to flesh out the characters in any meaningful way, given the character arc and character development. all that. This was just here's the idea done well. This is all. That's the whole point of this story existing. It's just I want to prove this story can be done. I want to prove this concept can be done well. And as a proof of concept, this is great. As a standalone story, it's rough. So I can't put this any higher because this is just a proof of concept story. Trader brought both Saboteurs Island and Agents Elevation do this. Are basically better versions of Trader Abroad. That's not saying Trader Abroad is bad. It's just again, this story kickstarted an entire genre of fan fictions, and that can't be denied. But you can only I can only push it so high. I can only rank it so high just on the legacy and left behind. I can't push any higher than this. So yeah. Next one, Peach Prince. This was like I believe this one's just a sort of paint dry story. It's it's functional. It's just very very dull and forgettable. I have nothing to say about this. Better Off Alone. Better Off Alone. I'm not even hesitating. There's just there's a this is the Better Off Alone tier. What do you think it's named after? What do you think it's named after? Until Not This Time Faith. This is what I considered the best fan fiction, and even then, it's still like right behind Not This Time Fate. Granted, Deluge, the Castlevania fan fiction by Mira Shallot. I know that I got confirmation not too long ago that is actually about to be finished, probably either in a couple months or sometime in 2024. The author actually confirmed it that it's going to be finished soon, and that actually might kind of get in the way of these two stories because I remember what I read of Deluge so far because I didn't bother finishing it. It was that good that it's that even incomplete is like yeah it's gonna be like among Better Off Alone and Not Design Faith, but Better Off Alone for almost a decade it was what I considered the fan fiction. The fan fiction to basically go against every other fan fiction. It had everything. It had suspense. It had a great story. It had great characters. The only possible complaint you could have about it is if you're a grammar Nazi and the first couple chapters didn't have the best grammar. There was like missing letters and misspelled words a lot in the first couple chapters. But I'm not a grammar Nazi. But so I can just appreciate everything Better Off Alone brought to the table from the character, giving us a fan fiction that finally did something right with Vivian, because Vivian is the best Paper Mario character. I made no complaint. I made no secrets to hide. I made no sense to hide my love with Vivian. Yes, Vivian doesn't have the best character arc. There are other Vivian stories that do her role better, but Vivian's role encompassing everything about her more mental state, her friendship with all the other partners, her romance with Coops. It's all really beautiful and well done. And I can't talk about it without like spending 10-20 minutes talking about the story again because I already because honestly, but it's Better Off Alone. There's no other reason to put it here besides just Better Off Alone. It literally It literally, the tier is literally named after the story. There's just nothing. I can't. What am I supposed to do? Where is it? So let's see. Next one. Best question ever. Oh, this one bad. F tier. Um, this one's just Rainbow Dash befriending be dating a character from this. It's just so cringe. Character, it's just like, even if I knew who the person she was dating what is, I could tell that like this person's just over exaggerating it and kind of turning him into a Sue for the sake of just forcing an awkward romance that like, oh, hell, the story is literally just them proposing, but it's like we don't know the context. We don't. They never. The author never reveals the context. The author never reveals their chemistry. That's just, here's a question: would you marry me? And that's it. It's bad. Reflection of Madness. Oh. You know what? Let's do this one first. Beyond a Shattered Looking Glass, because they're done by the same author, but this one's the first one. This one's the sequel. So these two stories, they are retellings of the American McGee Alice games. So Beyond the Shadow Looking Glass is based off American McGee's Alice, and Reflections of Madness is based off Alice Madness Returns. And I like what he did with this one. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put yeah, D plus. Beyond the Shattered Looking Glass is rough. It doesn't really do a lot with the idea. It's like the author is trying to do a retelling of the events of the first story, but doesn't fully commit to it. Reflection of Madness, on the other hand, fully commits to the retelling. Everything about it, from using Alice, reinterpreting all of Wonderland in sort of like a psychological version of it. Each of the characters being, in essence, a part of her psyche, like the Red Queen being like her super ego sort of thing, Alice being the ego, and the Cheshire being like the the ego, the super ego sort of thing. The Mad Hatter being her self preservation. The implementation of like the content that was actually never put into Madness Returns, like the Wasp Queen boss, was really well done. The the swerve that of her summoning the Jabberwock at the end when she's fighting the Dollmaker, and her and the Jabberwock actually teaming up to take out the Infernal Train. It's all really well done, and it still is a way to tell you that this is still American McGee's Alice. It's very morbid. It's very dark, grimy, very gory, bloody. It runs the full gamut of. Still remind you, this is American McGee's version of Alice in Wonderland, which is a probably like the darkest version of Alice in Wonderland, as far as I know, and kind of still reminding you this is still that version, but giving it a little light of hope at the end, because Alice is not really a villain protagonist. Honestly, in the games, Alice is more like a morally questionable protagonist. She kind of flirts between like a very gray and a very like villain protagonist. She kind of flirts between that, depending on interpretation of the game. But this retelling, it kind of gives her more of a sort of good guy feel, because she's like, instead of being like wanting revenge, she wants justice, and thinks that properly punishing Professor Bumby is like the best thing to do, because she thinks like, yeah, I want to kill him, but putting him in jail is like would be so much worse for him. So let's get the justice. All that it's such a great story. This one goes in better off alone tier. Uh, yeah. It's such a shame we never got that the sequel. Let me actually hold on. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm actually kind of curious. Do we have? No, he never. Kind of a sad thing. There was a sequel hook at the end of at the end of Reflection of Madness, where the interpretation that Alice was going against a American McGee's version of Little Red Riding Hood, which would have been really cool. And it's just a shame that the author kind of quit. I really wanted to see how would he handle uh, Little Red. That would be a really good idea. Let's see. Go back down. The Hattress of Night. This is just it's just a weird story. Hattress of Night. It's based off the I think a Wonderland version of Alice, which is like a play, and it's just the Hatter kind of being a knight. No, this one's based off like a female Hatter, uh, and a knight trying to protect her. It's kind of bland. It's yeah. My problem with that story was it's forgettable because I just can't remember anything except for like the fact that we had like a female Hatter in it. Yeah, D. No, D. Yeah, D. Let's just put that right here. Put that right here. Journey through a place called Smash. Okay, so this one was like a very short story where it just the whole point is just Daisy getting the letter for Smash, and then just going on a little journey to get to the Mansion, and she kind of runs into all the other some of the other newcomers that are going to be that were put in Smash Ultimate, and just going on a walk with them. It's just a simple walk, but it's like there's so much you can do with the idea. It's just a walk. It's just a very long walk. She runs into Ridley. Come join me. She runs into Inkling. Come join me. Woo me. She runs into no, she doesn't run into Crom. She runs into like some other character, at least a couple other characters, and they're all like, just come with me to a walk to the mansion." It's like okay, it's just a walk. It's just there's not much to it. It's well executed because I'm also a sucker for Princess Daisy. Uh, so yes, where is it? But there's only I'm putting it right here. I'm putting it right here. Yep. Law and Order Raccoon City. D. It's just the idea. The problem is like the idea is there. It's just the execution was so horrible. It's just Law and Order, but it's in Raccoon City. Dun dun. But it's just a horrible implementation of the world. I couldn't. It's just so bad. It's so bad. I can't put it in F tier because at least it's trying. It's not irredeemable. Like there's some. It's at least trying to do a neat idea. And there's also the whole circus thing where like the circus is like full of murderers and they capture people, and the way they kill them is like you're gonna tell us jokes, and the moment we stop laughing at your jokes, you're dead. And that's at least creative. I can give that. The bear is usually when it comes to like an evil circus, it's usually just from one member. No, this one did like no, the entire circus is evil. We're just funny guys. Um. All right, I'm going to. Where should I go? Oh, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna stop right here. These 10 stories, I'm gonna call it. Okay. Uh, no, I'm gonna stop at Daisy's Desire. Octocolors. This is the Splatoon story. This is the one about the Octoling that kind of this kind of takes place during the story mode of Splatoon 1. And Octoling kind of survives an attack from Agent 3, I believe it is, because I don't know. Because I don't know if it's Agent 3 or Agent 4, because I know Agent 1 and 2 is Callie and Marie. And I know Pearl and Marine, they're agents like 5 and 6 or something like that. And the Octoling in the Octo expansion, Agent 8. So I can't remember if the agent specifically here is Agent 3 or 4. I just can't remember. And she and the Octoling, who is named Saria, she tries to find a way back home, but the only path she has is to Inkopolis. So she basically goes to Inkopolis. She runs into the agent, who's kind of doing like a normal, who's kind of in his civvy clothes, and they kind of run, and she's just scared of her mind. And he's like, all right, you can live with me, and it's just them kind of living together, and then falling in love with each other. And then Dr. Octavio, he does this like big plan to try and take over Inkopolis, and it's a really good story. I do know that there was a sequel, but then the sequel died because the author, I think, just got bored. Um, where would I put it? I'm actually going to put it in the A plus. Well, but right here, because I don't think it's great enough to put an S tier, because the idea could have been the idea. Some of the ideas in the story could have been expanded on. Also, there is a sex scene at the end, and I think the sex scene was just unnecessary, because there was really no need for the sex scene. I get it. I get it. You wanted to consummate their love, but I still think to this day that there was just no reason for that scene to be there in the story. Yeah, it's an overall enjoyable story. Go read it when you want. Let's see. Next one. Soldier and his Gardevoir. Oh, this one. This one. Soldier and Gardevoir. I already know where to put it. Right here. I just realized, why is that there? So this story is about a soldier who lives in the Sinnoh region, and he befriends a Gardevoir, and it's another romance story. They kind of fall in love, and there's also like a political part of the story where they're kind of advocating for like love between Pokemon and humans, playing on the whole Sinnoh been Sinnoh, where it's revealed that in the past humans and Pokemon fell in love and got married and all that. I think my only complaint was like the action stuff was just so unnecessary, because the political side of the story was actually really well done, and then you had the action stuff where like where he's hunting like Team Magma and Team Aqua members, and that's just like very badly handled, because it's just very uninteresting and bland. Like this, I know for a fact the author just really couldn't write action scenes that well at the time. I think he did a remake, but I think the remake just died. Uh, it's just it's only this high because it's only up here because the political stuff was actually so well. But I can't I can't raise the story too high because of just only half of the plot being good. I can't. Oh wait, too far. The Lord of the Dunk. I remember what this. Oh yeah, this is the one where Bilbo Baggins challenges Joe Swanson to a basketball game. This is a story that happened. I don't know what to think of the story, and even today, I can't. I don't. Now I'm remembering it. This is just a weird story. This is not. This is just. It's not good. It's not bad. It's weird, because it's just Joe Swanson being an absolute dick to Bilbo Baggins. It's like, I'm the Lord of the Dunk. You will not challenge me, but you're on a wheelchair. Wheelchairs mean nothing on basketball court. Bring it on! Uh, put it here because it's just I remember it more for just being just weird rather than good or bad. Which still, it's still a weird thing. Just Joe Swanson playing basketball against Bilbo Baggins. It's such a weird thing. I don't even know. Um, Batman and Benson. Let's just do all the Batman and Benson stories because these three stories are not that good. It's just this is basically Benson from Law and Order SVU going taking cases in Gotham City and then befriending Batman and then somehow joining the Justice League for some reason. Yes, Olivia Benson, Justice League member. That's why I kind of stopped it at three because it's like, no, this story's just jump. Story's just jumping the shark at this point with like the whole Justice League thing. Not to mention Benson, despite the fact Benson is like portrayed like very close to being canonically in the show. The problem is Olivia Benson's like pretty much a Mary Sue in SVU, like at times. Like watch my mom watched a lot of Law and Order SVU. Olivia Benson is pretty much a Mary Sue in that show. If you watch it long enough, it's obnoxious how the fact that every other character is like well developed enough that it kind of hides the fact that Benson is a fucking Sue. Like that's literally insane. So all three are going to go here because they're still written relatively well. It's just there's only so much you can take the idea of just Batman-esque versions of SVU episodes. It's like the first episode is like Harley Quinn pretends that she was raped by Joker, and then it's she's Harley Quinn, she's crazy, and there's only so much you can take the idea, and the fact that they hold on, I want to see. I want to see how many. I just realized that's there. How many? I want to know how many. Yeah, it is. Still. Okay. There's 8 Batman and Bensons. And I only quit after 3 because, oh yeah, Olivia, like I said, Olivia Benson joining Justice League. Yeah, that's jumping the shark, all right. I'm just done with that. Okay. So, that. Yeah. Wait. There. Let's see. Criticizing Gabriel Scrolls. This one written by Phineas Redux as well. This was the same guy who wrote the one where Xena ends up on the Mary Celeste, but this one's not as good. This is like a modern version of Xena and Gabriel. There's like a weird feminist angle where like people were criticizing Gabriel's writing, and then Xena got like really mad and just beats up a bunch of guys, and just that's it. I don't really like this one. This one like it's even sadder when you realize that Xena and the Lost Ship was really well done, and this is just Xena being feminist. It doesn't really work. It kind of makes sense because Xena is a feminist icon in the '90s. Because I actually am a big fan of Xena. But I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yeah, let's put it down here. It's so bad. Okay, so 4 stories left. Twilight. Oh, anyone who watches, you're gonna love this story. Basically, picture Twilight Sparkle as Eustace Bag dealing with King Ramsay. What's your offer? It's such a dumb story. It's such a goddamn ridiculous story. Basically, the plot is King Ramsay's curse from Courage Cowardly Dog, just done with Twilight. It's as ridiculous and dumb sounding as it sounds. There's lots of neat touches, like when King Ramsay does like the song instead of doing like King Ramsay, it does an annoying Pinkie Pie song when she's trying to befriend when she's trying to sing when she sings the song of the Appaloozians befriending the buffalo. You gotta share and you gotta care, and it's just so hilarious. And the fact that Twilight's first response is like sees Ramsey is like, one, that's not real. Two, what's your offer? and Spike playing the and Spike kind of playing the straight man to Twilight, just continuously denying that King Ramsey's curse is a real thing. It's really hilarious. If you're a fan of comedy stories, read this one because it's just so dumb. I'm sorry. This is just a dumb story that I just can't help but laugh at. Yeah, I'm gonna put this right here at the bottom S. At the bottom S. Because it's such a dumb story. But I can't help but love it. Especially when she there's actually a part where she actually when she finds the music and she reviews it, it's like, oh thank God, and it starts playing and she's freaking out, and then she turns behind her and it's like there's Pinky singing the song right in front of her. It's like, Pinky, why are you singing the song? No reason. Bye, Twilight. It's so dumb, but I love it. Shishomaru was Too Sexy by Kiara no Uchida, or Kagome Loves Koga. This is just Shishomaru singing I'm Too Sexy. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a dumb idea, but I gotta put this in the D plus because it's not trying to be a good story. It's just trying to be something really, really dumb. So I can't fault it for that. Random Mega Man parody show. What one line? Mega Man, you're here to fight. You were here for the boxing match of your. No wait, Flashman, you're here for the boxing match of your life. What is your training? Well, simple. You want a treat? You gotta beat your meat. You gotta beat my meat 3 times a day. That's not the whole line. He basically says, "Well, my boxing training is I gotta find a piece of meat and I beat it. If you want to be a box champ, you gotta beat your meat. I beat my meat 3 times a day." It's just the story is basically just a bunch of multiple gags. Because I think I actually reviewed all of them at once because I know there was like more than one. How many is in here? I actually cannot remember. There it is. I actually cannot remember how many Mega Man parodies. One, two, three. Yeah, there's 3 of them. I didn't read this one. There's 3 of them. They're pretty funny. It's mainly just cringe comedy, but it's like, but there are some that are actually really hilarious. It is like primarily a parody story. It's just each chapter is just a parody of something. Like the whole Beat You Meet one is a parody of Rocky. It's just Flashman was portraying. Flashman was Rocky, and that's it. Let's actually get each one. I'm actually gonna put these. I'm gonna put these in C. C plus. C plus is where I'm putting like. Okay then. Okay, times 0. Mega Man. Don't know why it's doing that. Mega Man. Bye. Metal Sonic X. Where is it? Yes. By Metal Sonic. Yeah. And the other two are just going to be right next to it. Hmm. So let's just put the second offense. Let's see. Second offense. And then finally, third strike. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Daisy's Desire. This is the final story I'm going to do today. I know for a fact this one is based off a comic where Daisy turns Peach into a wand, I think, to lure Bowser away, and then when like it's kind of I think it's a dream sequence because after Bowser leaves, Daisy realizes that Peach is a wand, and she's like, I now control the Mushroom Kingdom. And I think in this story at the end it turns out to be a dream sequence where she changes her mind. It's like, oh no, I'm just thinking about stuff. And she turns Peach to normal. I believe that's how it goes. I don't think that's a bad G. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for right now. How many do I have left? I have 30 2018 stories left. So let's see. Next video, I'm going to try and get these three out of the way, these 30, and then work on 2019. Tell me if you think I should do 2020 as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. This has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut.